The elegant headquarters of one of the country's fastest-growing technology corporations stood in the center of the financial district, surrounded by reflective glass towers and constant streams of luxury cars. Every morning, executives, investors, and influential clients entered through the polished revolving doors, welcomed by smiling receptionists and security officers who recognized the faces of wealth and status. Employees believed that appearances revealed everything about a person's importance. Designer suits, expensive watches, and luxury vehicles often determined who received immediate attention and who was quietly asked to wait. At exactly 8:55 a.m., a black sedan stopped at the curb. The driver stepped out and respectfully opened the rear door. A black woman, about 42 years old, emerged carrying a well-used brown leather briefcase. She wore a simple navy blue business suit, polished black shoes, and a white blouse without expensive jewelry or flashy accessories. Her natural curly hair was tied neatly into a low bun, and her calm brown eyes carefully observed the impressive building before she walked toward the entrance with steady confidence. She thanked the driver with a warm smile before he quietly drove away. Inside the lobby, marble floors reflected the sparkling chandeliers overhead. Large digital displays showcased the company's latest achievements, while employees hurried between elevators holding tablets and laptops. The woman approached the reception desk with quiet professionalism. "Good morning," she said kindly. "I have a scheduled meeting with Mr. Harrison at 9 o'clock. The receptionist barely looked up from her computer. "Your name?" The woman politely gave her full name. The receptionist searched briefly before frowning. "I don't see anything important here. Please have a seat. Someone will call you." The woman thanked her without complaint and sat in a comfortable chair near the window, placing her briefcase neatly beside her feet. She opened a folder and quietly reviewed several neatly organized documents while occasionally checking her watch. 9 o'clock arrived. Then 9:30. Executives continued entering the building. Whenever someone wearing an expensive suit approached the reception desk, they were immediately greeted by name and escorted upstairs. Several visitors arrived carrying luxury gift baskets and were welcomed warmly. The woman simply remained seated, reading reports with remarkable patience. Employees passing through the lobby noticed her. "Has she been waiting all morning?" one assistant whispered. "I think so. Maybe she's trying to sell something." Another employee glanced toward her modest briefcase and quietly laughed. "She doesn't exactly look like one of our investors." The comments reached the receptionist, who smiled awkwardly but said nothing. At 10:15, the woman politely approached the desk once more. "I just wanted to confirm that Mr. Harrison knows I've arrived." The receptionist forced a professional smile. "I'm sure he does. He's extremely busy today." "I understand." She returned to her chair without another word. Several floors above, the executive boardroom buzzed with activity. The company's CEO, Richard Harrison, a confident man in his late 40s wearing an expensive charcoal suit, addressed his senior leadership team. Charts filled the large digital screens while assistants moved between the conference table serving coffee. During a short break, Harrison casually asked his executive assistant, "What's next after this meeting?" She checked her tablet. "You had a 9 o'clock appointment this morning." "The investment representative?" "Yes." He shrugged carelessly. "Still waiting?" "I believe so." He laughed. "If they've waited this long, they can wait a little longer." Several executives chuckled. "They must really need us," one vice president joked. Harrison leaned back comfortably. "That's the advantage of being the market leader." The room filled with quiet laughter before everyone returned to discussing quarterly profits. Meanwhile, downstairs, the woman accepted a complimentary cup of water from a maintenance employee who noticed she had been sitting there for hours. "You've been waiting a long time," he said kindly. She smiled warmly. "Yes, but patience often reveals things that conversations never can." The employee nodded politely, not fully understanding her words. By noon, the lobby had grown busier as employees headed out for lunch. Groups walked past discussing vacation plans, business deals, and stock prices. A few glanced toward the woman with curiosity. One young intern approached her. "Ma'am, can I help you find someone?" She smiled appreciatively. "Thank you. I'm expected." The intern seemed confused. "You've been here since this morning." "I know. You don't seem upset." The woman closed her folder gently. Sometimes the most important meetings begin long before anyone enters the conference room. The intern thought about those words before quietly returning upstairs. Outside, clouds slowly drifted across the bright afternoon sky while the city's traffic continued moving below. Inside the towering headquarters, the woman remained calm, never showing frustration or demanding special treatment. She simply observed the people around her, how employees treated one another, how visitors were judged within seconds of arriving, and how easily assumptions replaced respect. She checked her watch once more. 6 hours had nearly passed. Yet not once had she raised her voice, complained, or reminded anyone of her importance. Unknown to everyone in the building, every passing minute was quietly shaping a decision worth billions of dollars. The employees believed they were making an ordinary visitor wait. In reality, the future of their company was sitting silently in the lobby, watching everything. The clock on the lobby wall quietly marked 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 6 full hours had passed since the black woman had first entered the building, yet her calm expression remained unchanged. She closed the final page of her report, carefully returned every document to her leather briefcase, and adjusted the sleeve of her navy blue blazer. Around her, the afternoon rush continued. Employees hurried through the marble lobby carrying laptops and coffee cups, never realizing that the quiet woman they had ignored all day represented an opportunity larger than any deal the company had ever pursued. At the reception desk, the receptionist suddenly received a phone call. Her cheerful expression disappeared almost immediately. "What do you mean she's still downstairs?" a voice demanded through the receiver. The receptionist looked toward the waiting area with widened eyes. "Yes, she's still here." There was a brief silence before the caller spoke again. "Bring her upstairs immediately." The receptionist quickly stood and hurried toward the woman. "Ma'am, Mr. Harrison is ready to see you now." The woman smiled politely as though nothing unusual had happened. "Thank you." She picked up her briefcase and followed the receptionist toward the private executive elevators. Employees standing nearby exchanged curious looks. She finally got in. "I wonder who she is. Maybe she's some consultant." No one guessed the truth. The elevator doors opened onto the executive floor, where thick carpets, modern artwork, and panoramic city views reflected the company's enormous success. The receptionist escorted her through a wide hallway lined with photographs of major corporate achievements before stopping outside a pair of polished wooden doors. "Please wait here." Moments later, the doors opened. The executive boardroom was filled with senior executives wearing expensive tailored suits. Large digital displays covered one wall, showing financial forecasts and expansion plans. The long conference table gleamed beneath elegant lighting. Richard Harrison entered from the opposite side of the room, adjusting his cufflinks with relaxed confidence. He offered a brief handshake without much enthusiasm. "I'm Richard Harrison." The woman shook his hand firmly. "A pleasure." He motioned toward a chair. "I'm sorry for the delay. It's been an unusually busy day." She nodded politely. "I understand." Without revealing disappointment or frustration, she placed her leather briefcase on the polished conference table and slowly opened it. Every executive watched with mild curiosity. Harrison leaned back comfortably. "So, tell me about your proposal." Instead of answering immediately, the woman removed a slim black portfolio embossed with a silver emblem unfamiliar to everyone in the room. She carefully slid several official documents across the table. "I believe these will explain my visit." The CEO glanced at the first page. His confident smile faded. He flipped to the next page. Then another. His breathing slowed. Across the table, the chief financial officer leaned forward. "What is it?" Harrison silently handed him the documents. Within seconds, the executive's expression also changed completely. "This can't be." The room became unusually quiet. The woman calmly folded her hands. "My name is Angela Brooks." She spoke clearly but without arrogance. "I serve as the Senior Acquisition Director for Blackstone International Strategic Holdings." Several executives immediately exchanged nervous glances. Everyone in corporate finance knew the organization. It managed investments worth hundreds of billions of dollars and rarely approached companies directly. Angela continued. "Our board has spent the last 11 months evaluating potential partners for a global infrastructure and technology expansion." She gently tapped one document. "The value of the initial partnership exceeds $2 billion. No one spoke. Even the assistant standing near the walls froze. Harrison looked down again, carefully reading the official authorization letter carrying multiple international signatures. His face gradually lost its color. He suddenly remembered the morning conversation in the boardroom. If they've waited this long, they can wait a little longer. The words echoed painfully inside his mind. Angela watched him quietly. This meeting was confirmed 23 days ago. She slid another printed email across the table. "The confirmation was acknowledged by your executive office." The CEO looked toward his assistant. She quickly searched her tablet. A few seconds later her face turned pale. "It's here." She swallowed nervously. It was accidentally marked as low priority. Nobody said a word. The silence inside the luxurious boardroom became almost unbearable. Harrison slowly removed his glasses and rubbed his forehead. "I sincerely apologize." Angela offered a small, respectful smile. "I appreciate your apology." He leaned forward anxiously. "We're honored your organization selected us." She remained calm. "We were considering your company." The difference between those two words struck everyone immediately. "Were?" Angela nodded. "My assignment today extended beyond reviewing financial performance." She looked around the room before continuing. "Our board believes long-term partnerships depend on culture, leadership, and respect." She paused briefly. "That evaluation began the moment I entered your building." Several executives lowered their eyes. She continued speaking gently. "I watched how employees greeted visitors." She looked toward the reception area visible through the glass wall. "I observed who received immediate assistance and who was ignored." She met the CEO's eyes. "I noticed how assumptions were made before introductions." Every sentence felt heavier than the last. No one interrupted. The room that had once been filled with confidence now sat in complete silence, as every executive realized the company's biggest opportunity had never been lost in a negotiation. It had been lost the moment they decided that a quiet woman waiting patiently in the lobby wasn't important enough to deserve respect.